From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning. Mornings LA with huge news across the board as big money is coming your way. In today's recording, we debut brand new stimulus. Today we go over that Thanksgiving stimulus money and also those Black Friday stimulus checks. Big money, and it's coming to you. I'll show you over this 1 hour broadcast how to get these incredible sums of money. Then we go into the depths of federal stimulus checks, FSCs, nearly $300,000 available for you. I'll go over all that incredible sums of money in today's recording. Inflation relief stimulus checks from your states. They're great as well. They're coming up in the big second half. Then lifetime stimulus checks, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Those stimulus keyed up in today's broadcast as well. But also brand new, debuting a whole new category of stimulus for the first time on mornings. It's called NSC. Next stimulus checks. We'll go over what's on the horizon for next stimulus checks. It's big news. It's breaking. It's happening today. Then we'll go into breaking news as well. That's meeting up with this economy. The brand new details of the Consumer Price Index is released, that CPI, that gave you guidance on what's going on with inflation. Is it shocking, or is it exactly what we saw or what we expected? I'll have the latest details on inflation today, where that number's going and where it's headed. The Consumer Price Index number was released. What's next? Also with the PPI. In those inflationary numbers, we'll see what's going on with rent, food, and also gasoline and utilities. And then we'll be turning to the latest details of what's going on with labor. Labor is getting worse by the minute. More jobless claims and less job creations. All the latest details in today's breaking news as well. And then we'll get a preview of all the other sums of money at issue. Plus, we'll go back to the 4 things you need to know with the Federal Reserve and why those 4 things will guide you through the whole rest of the year. What are those 4 things? They're heating up a brand new broadcast. When the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing, the Federal Reserve will have the guidance as well. It all heats up a brand new broadcast on Mornings LA, starting right now. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is gorgeous here along the coast as inflationary data is released by the Consumer Price Index number. We'll have the latest details on that as well. Plus, what's going on with labor? Is labor falling apart? I'll show the latest details on that. And a debut of a brand new stimulus, brand new category. It's called NSC, Next Stimulus. I'll have the latest details on that in today's recording. Who is it coming from? Yeah, you guessed it right. That's coming up in today's broadcast as well. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. We got a big broadcast and a lot of exciting news to deliver for you. In today's broadcast, we'll be going over inflation, the Federal Reserve, and more. It's a huge show, and all the latest details start right now. Good morning. Hope you're having a beautiful morning, and thank you for joining me on another morning's broadcast. Today, we have now 3 categories of stimulus passed and paying, and 1 new category debuting today on the horizon. They are federal stimulus checks, FSC, brand new, big money. Thanksgiving stimulus checks, Black Friday, passed. Nearly $300,000 of checks for you and 300 checks. I'm going to go over all those incredible checks for you in today's recording. Then we go over to inflation relief stimulus checks, ISEs, from the states. They're big. Then lifetime stimulus. How do you get these big sums of money? You go into this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Parrot, Casino VIP. Then you go down the membership newsletter and pounce like a hawk and get all these incredible checks. But later in this recording, we'll go over the debut of a 4th category on the front burner. Not law yet, not bill yet, but likely to happen. It's called NSC, Next Stimulus Checks. It's coming up late in this broadcast. But first, let's go into the breaking news right now. The Consumer Price Index for the prior month was released, and that number showed that inflation came in at a whopping 7.7%. Inflation last year was the talk of the town. And at the time, the Federal Reserve and Wall Street said that inflation would be 1 month and temporary or transitory of 8%. I called their bluff. I said, no, it's not. I said, it's going to be 8% for a very long time. And I was out on a left field by myself, the only one saying that inflation is going to be 8% for a long time. Well, guess what? I was right. The latest number on the Consumer Price Index showed that inflation for the prior month came in again at 8%. 11 months later, 7.7%. Inflation has not gone down, folks. When you look at the monthly data showed that inflation actually rose 0.4% compared to the prior month. Was there anything that decreased in the number? Yes, actually, 3 items decreased, 4 items. Number one, salaries decreased a little bit. You don't want to hear that. That's not particularly good news. Then we had medical decreased by 1%. That was surprising. But clothing dropped. Yeah, pants dropped. Clothing dropped. Keep it to yourself. Clothing dropped 1% compared to the prior month. And then the biggest drop was 2.4% in vehicles. Not surprising because people don't have the cash to buy the car. The car loan is no longer affordable. Other than that, everything else in the Consumer Price Index number was up a lot. Massive inflation, and the inflation is still going higher. Let's jump into the data of the numbers. First, we have the rent was up. Second, the utilities up. Third, the groceries up. Let's jump in each of those one at a time. First, the rent went up an enormous amount. Jump in the live chat. How much do you think the rent went up compared to the prior year? Give me a percentage point. Was it 5%? Was it 20%? Give me an annual number for the rent in the live chat. Rent, comma, the percentage, comma, your state. Next, how much do you think the utilities went up compared to the prior year? Utilities, comma, the percentage, and your state. Here we go. The rent went up 1% compared to the prior month. This has been happening every single month this year on this channel. This is sort of obvious. No one can afford to buy a house because the mortgage rate is so expensive. So they stay renting. The landlord has full occupancy because no one's leaving their apartments because they can't afford a house. And with full occupancy, the landlord raises the rent. So the rent went up 1%. Again, 0.8% compared to the prior month, the highest rise since 1990. When comparing it on an annual basis, how much was it up? Boy, if you said it went up 7%, the rent compared to last year, the highest raise since the Reagan administration, you got it right. You think that's high? Wait till you see the utilities. The utilities compared to the prior month went up 20% in 30 days. Now, don't tell me it's because of the cold weather, because that's wrong. Because when you look at the annual number, how much did the utilities go up compared to last October 2021? They went up on a one-year basis 70%. Wow. That caused the wind to blow like on cue. The utilities went up 69% compared to the prior year. Insane. The food rose 11% year to date and then rose another 1% compared to the prior month. I mean, that's what I've been talking about. I think the food continues to go up a lot. I think it's gone up more in the month of October and September than it did in the month of August and July. I just see it really going up. I see it going up this month as well. And that, my friends, is why you got to get the stimulus. We have 3 categories of stimulus that are law and 1 on the horizon. And let's go with those 3 categories of stimulus right now. First, federal stimulus checks, FSCs. These are big, nearly $300,000 of stimulus. And it's for you, a single individual, $75,000 or less annual income, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less annual income, go get it. Children without children on SSI, SSDI, go get it. It's from the federal government. So it has nothing to do with where you live. Don't ask me, is it where you live? Because it's not from your state, it's from the federal government. That's why it's in every U.S. state. I'll show you how to get those incredible FSC checks for Black Friday and for Thanksgiving in just a second. Next up after that is inflation relief stimulus checks, ISEs. They're great as well. Then lifetime stimulus. They're big as well. We'll go over those coming up in a second. The other major story that I will look at right now is, of course, the jobs. The jobs number released this week was not good. If we pull up that graphic that I think I still have in my database here, the rise of the unemployment claims in the last few months was austere. Yeah, I do. So unemployment claims, new jobless claims, was 180, then went to 200, 230, then 240, then 250, then 260 back earlier this year. Then it fell back down to around 180. So where was that jobs number this week when it was released? It was 7,000 higher than the prior week. And where to come in at? Not good. It's back at about a 225, 230 number. Oh boy, here we go. We're going back up on those new first-time jobless claims. On the other side, we have the job creations number, the non-farm payroll, and that number was not good. I don't like it at all. There was 239,000 jobs created in the month of October, up from an estimate of 195, but of those, 210,000 of the 239,000, which is basically the whole entire number, came from hotels and airlines. So there was only 19,000 jobs created in the entire U.S. economy in the month of October. Only 19,000 jobs that weren't airlines or hotels. This is as major layoffs are being announced this week. This week, Meta, formerly Facebook, announced 11,000 jobs eliminated, gone, laid off. Massive layoffs of tens of thousands are being announced on a regular basis. And this is really the big issue at hand. What's important to understand is that here's your data for inflation, but what was the reaction to the data? The reaction to the data is ridiculousness. The Fed pivot heated up once again. The Fed pivot is a fake story. The fake story of the Fed pivot is the Federal Reserve will pivot and stop doing what they're doing. Not going to happen. There's 4 things I want you to learn on this channel today. And those 4 things I want you to learn are what the Federal Reserve is going to be doing until they're done. First, they need to get inflation from 8% to 2%. Number 2, they need that 2% to come in for several months, not just 1 month. And number 3, they're going to stay with it until they're finished. And number 4, they're going to keep on repeating it until you listen to them. The Federal Reserve has made this very clear over the last few months. And yet Wall Street tries to sell you snake oil, telling you Federal Reserve is going to stop at 7.5%, stop at 5%, stop at 3%. They're not going to do that. The latest twist of the snake oil is that the Federal Reserve is going to stop ahead of time because eventually it'll be 2%. No. In fact, the Federal Reserve has gotten really good at this. Why? Because the Federal Reserve now actually dispatches someone to speak every time that Fed pivot comes back once a month. And this time it was Mary Daly. Mary Daly said, stop it already. Stop it. It's getting ridiculous. Why do I have to keep on repeating myself? But I'm doing it again, says Mary Daly. She said, 1 month of good data is not a victory lap. And I think it's really important to be thoughtful that we need lots of information. She means several months. We have to be resolute, which means dedicated, to bring inflation down to 2% on average. There you go. That's our goal. And we will stay committed to doing that, and we will not change policy until it's done. So again, it needs to go from 8% where it is now to 2% and stay there for several months. So you basically need to hear me say, hello, 2% this month, next month, I have to say 2% for another month, and 2% for maybe a third month. I have to report to you 3 months of a CPI at 2%. And until I say that, there's no Fed pivot. There's no Fed pivot. It's pretty obvious. And that's why you really need to get this incredible stimulus. Let's jump into some stimulus right now. This incredible stimulus started with the stimulus from the President of the United States. The President of the United States passed the first 3 of these great FSCs. And that's what we're going to lead with right now. Federal stimulus checks, FSCs, Black Fridays, and also Thanksgiving. $300,000, 300 checks, but the first three coming from Joe Biden. Joe Biden passed the first three checks back in the month of March. Checks A, checks B, and check C. Nearly $100,000. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, go get it as well. How do you get it? You go under this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. I'm going to go over each of these checks with you in a second. Past in March, viewers have gotten it. And they are absolutely incredible. You qualify. Go into this video, join this channel, and get these incredible sums of money. Get them right today. Then came Congress. Congress passed a bill that established checks E through K, bringing us to hundreds of checks of stimulus across the board. I then put all these checks in the LALATE newsletter, delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. You go down that membership newsletter to get those checks, and I found you even more checks for you, the Purple Power, L&M, N&O, P and Q. And they're all in the membership newsletter. Become a member and get all those incredible checks. We're going to go over each of those checks in just a second. Now, the other major story that's heating up right today that really tees up the second half of the recording is this. And it's currently today, and it may change later after this broadcast airs, but the current situation is the following. Senate races are in for midterm election results, and House races are in as well. The current House state at the moment is 10 very critical House seats are still out to be counted, so we don't know the results on that. The balance of power in the House is still up for grabs, Democrats and Republicans. Let's jump over to the Senate, though. This is getting really interesting. Let me slow it down. Over this 1 year, we often talked about Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. The reason why they were so important was that the balance of power in the Senate was equal number of senators that are Republican and Democrat, with a tie-breaking vote coming from the Democratic vice president, who is president of the Senate. She votes with them. So equal number of Democratic Senate seats, equal number of Republican Senate seats, tie-breaking vote from the vice president. At the time of today's broadcast, the Senate seats have been picked up by Democrats, and one seat remains outstanding. The outstanding Senate seat to be determined is the Senate seat out of Georgia, and that won't be determined until February. Raphael Warnock going into a runoff with Herschel Walker. That is for the Senate seat. Of course, Raphael Warnock is currently in that Senate seat. He's a Democrat. Putting aside the Senate seat in Georgia, what is the current results for those Senate seats? Current results eliminate Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema as a factor completely. Why? Because the current balance at the time of today's broadcast is the Democrats are up 2 seats compared to the Republicans. That means it's 2 seats plus the vice president, 3 seats. The Democrats are with the vice president up 3 seats compared to the Republicans in the Senate. And that is absolutely incredible. And if Raphael Warnock gets reelected, it's still incredible across the board. So what does that mean? That basically means that if everything happens exactly as expected, with Raphael Warnock expected to be reelected, then the Democrats will have more seats than the Republicans, number one. The Democrats will have enough extra seats that if Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin want to vote against anything Democratic, no worries, because they have enough extra Democratic seats to eliminate Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema as a factor in consideration. Remember, because we have this vice president as the casting vote as well, that all that incredible stimulus that you and I have ever wanted for is going to get passed. Next stimulus, NSC heats up that second half. We'll go over what that next stimulus is likely to look at with a Democratic Senate that is up 3 seats compared to the Republicans. My goodness. Plus, we'll continue with those FSC checks and ISC checks. But first, let's go into some checks right now. Let's start with the first of those 3 checks passed by the President of the United States. They are check A, B, and C. These are law, and these were passed by the President of the United States by executive action in the month of March. And let's look at them and get them right now. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 forced stimulus check, a federal stimulus check passed by the President of the United States in the month of March. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. How do you get it? Step 1, you go on in this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Go down the membership newsletter to see check A and click the link and go right and apply. This is the check that Spelling got. Absolutely incredible. Check A, become a member under this video. Join today. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Go down the membership newsletter delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and get that incredible check. We're not done there yet. You're going to go get check B. Check B is $15,000 to $80,000, a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. How do you get this check? Go onto this video, join the channel, become a member, then go down the membership newsletter till you see check B, click the link and go right and apply. It's absolutely incredible. And 2 viewers have proven how incredible it is. We have Frank Mancuso out of Florida. He joined this channel, just paid just a few dollars, and he walked away with less than $10,000 in less than 30 days. Insane. He got 18 months of rent, 18 months of mortgage, 18 months of high-speed internet, and 18 months of utilities. Another viewer out of Florida, she got 80 to 100 checks. Insane. At a check B. She got her rent, her utilities, that's 5 checks a month. 18 months, that's 80 to 100 checks, $100,000. It's incredible. That's check B. What are you watching? You're currently watching LALATE, America's #1 most watched financial news show in prime time. #1 for financial news all day long for this subject matter, and #3 overall for all financial news in America. Long form, short form, taped and live shows with 3 channels, LA1, LA2, and LA3. Welcome to the nearly 100 new members joining this channel in the last 24 hours. Become a member, go around this video, and get these incredible checks. And let's now go to the next check. Check C. This is big, and we've been getting check C's on this channel for a very long time. This is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. How do you get it? Step 1, you become a member, then go down the membership newsletter. You see check C. It tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. The incredible success stories of check C's have been on this channel for a while, with viewers getting $50 million on this channel since it launched. Do you want $30,000 of rent? Then go get some check C. Look at these great numbers. From Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth. How about utilities? Well, Lingland just days ago got 14 months of utilities. And there you are. Mark, $6,500. His brother-in-law, $15,000. Same brother-in-law got a whopping $250,000 of SNAP over 10 years. Combinations of checks in EC went from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark from $32,000 to $50,000. And then he went from $50,000 to $166,000. This is before he did that. Congratulations, Mark. Lorraine was at 105. She went to 155. And that's how you rock and roll. Go into this video, become a member. Go into this video, subscribe. And go into this video, hit that bell so you have all notifications set to all on. Congratulations to Margaret. She sent me a beautiful message overnight. She got more money. I love Margaret. She keeps on pouncing and getting extra stimulus every approximately 2 to 3 weeks, Margaret. I think it's about every 2 to 3 weeks she gets more stimulus. LALATE launched in 2020. I used to wear a lot of purple, and people called me Mr. Purple. And I said, well, you have the power. You have the power. You have the purple power. You can do this as well. And that's what you've proven. You do have the purple power. The expression Purple Hawks was launched by me to describe you pouncing like a hawk. A hawk, and getting these big sums of money. Pouncing and getting these big sums of money. Not being complacent, not putting your feet up like a donut guy, but pouncing and getting these big sums of money available across the board. Calcino VIP refers the expression of what sirloin likes to be in the Calcino across the board. And there you go. Congratulations, Dragon, who's gotten $170,000 from checks A through C for this channel. She's a triple member from all three channels, a longtime volunteer to the community page. You've seen Mark. What about Johnny? Johnny got $80,000, $220,000, $250,000 to 20 friends and family as well. We had Deborah who got some money just days ago, about I think it was about 15, 18,000. Success stories happen all the time. If you're in the live chat, post your success story as well. In the big second half, we're going to continue with these federal stimulus checks. And then we will jump into those inflation relief stimulus checks. They're from your states. Next up, lifetime stimulus checks. And for the first time ever on Mornings LA, I'll go over the anticipated, not law yet, not bill yet, but anticipated next stimulus checks. When are they and how much are they? That's coming up in a second as Mornings LA continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now on a Mornings LA broadcast from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Hope you're having a beautiful morning, and the toast is toast and the butter is butter, but also heating up is more stimulus. In this big second half, we continue with those federal stimulus checks, FSCs, Black Friday, and also Thanksgiving stimulus checks. How are you? Congress came along and passed more checks, and those are huge. Let's look at them right now. Check E, $7,500. Wow. Check F, $4,000 stimulus check. Insane. What about a beautiful 30% off? H is $2,000 stimulus check. There you go. And then I, $8,000 stimulus checks. Oh my God. J, another $8,000 stimulus check. Insane. And then K, a $14,000 stimulus check. I love it. These are all in the membership newsletter down at check E through K. Along the way, I found you more checks. L, a beautiful $100,000 on average loan interest-free mortgage, and then $4,000 a grant. Stimulus N, just incredible. The Purple Hawk spirit was truly embodied 2 weeks ago on this 2 weeks ago? 5 days ago on this broadcast when I was live on air. And in the live chat, I looked over and then I saw John Maloof. And I got to Stimulus N. Now, Stimulus N has been featured on the channel for months. I said, I love it. It's a brand new tablet. It's a brand new computer. It's my favorite stimulus item. And free internet. And there was John Maloof in the live chat. He said, I got it. I said, you got what? I got the tablet. And I'm watching you on the tablet. I said, oh my goodness, that's insane. And I recorded John Maloof's success story on this channel. I also told John in that broadcast, go get other stimulus. 48 hours later, John Maloof had $24,000 of other stimulus from this channel. That's how you pounce as a Purple Hawk. You keep on getting monies across the board. Congratulations, John Maloof. Now, when I recorded that John Maloof got the tablet, Spelly, who you saw earlier in this recording, who got check A and check C, was watching and said, tablet? Why don't I have a tablet? Where is my darn tablet? So he heard John Maloof and he got inspired by John Maloof, and Spelly pounced and got himself a tablet within 2 days and sent me that beautiful message. Thereafter, Lynn Glenn, you heard about her earlier in this broadcast, she watched Spelly and she said, everyone's getting a tablet except me. Where is my tablet? And so she went into the membership newsletter and she pounced and she got that incredible stimulus and just love it. Stimulus O, 0 down payment, 0 closing costs, 0 mortgage payment, and then Stimulus P, which is a 3% down for a refi, and $8,000 of closing costs is Stimulus Q. Ah, that is wonderful. That is your beautiful federal stimulus checks, FSCs. The beautiful Black Friday and Thanksgiving stimulus that's available for you right now. Here are some summary items that are important to remember. Number one, biggest check, $100,000. Smallest check, $8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny started on Monday. By Wednesday, he had $45,000. You go, Johnny. By Friday, he had applied at 15 places. Half approved, half disapproved. That's typical rejection rate, about 50% approve and disapprove. And then he got 8 approved, $80,000. The following week, he helped his mom and dad each get $50,000, and then he got his 20 friends and neighbors $250,000. We got in these FFCs. We got the utilities, we got the car, the home repairs, the home appliances. We got something for all of you across the board. It's absolutely incredible. The next type of stimulus after that is inflation relief stimulus. These aren't from Joe Biden or the Congress. These are from the states. And these incredible inflation relief stimulus checks are beautiful. What is happening with those? Let's go over the details. First, they're about $1,000. Second, they're in almost all U.S. states. Most states don't tell you they have them, and yet they do have them. Number three, you have to have a tax return on file. irs.gov, totally free. And number three, you go down the membership newsletter to check D, like donut, and it has a link for you to pop open a new page, and it shows you the states, the website for each state to track the check, and everything else you need to know about that beautiful inflation relief stimulus checks. Beautiful. Love it. Now, on top of that, there is lifetime stimulus, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. But no one's telling you how this works. Let's go over the details of it right now. Number one, you are going to have not one, but 4 raises. Number two, you're going to have more money in your wallet than your cost of living. Wow. So let's go over the details of this right now. First, let's understand you're going to go to the 5th floor in a sky rise in 2 more years. How did this happen? Last year, benefits raised you up 5.9%. Next year, you're going to go up an 8.7% on top of that to the 3rd floor. Thereafter, you're going to go to the 4th and the 5th floor, because J-Powell says there's going to be 2 more years of inflation. That means you're going to get 2 more raises. Wow. Yes, you're going to have 5 raises, and once you reach that 5th floor, you're never going to go back down. That's the law. Let's jump over then to cost of living. As you reach that 5th floor, it's going to be cheaper to live, because all those goods that are at the roof level right now are going to go right back down to the lobby by the 5th year. So you're going to have the biggest check of your lifetime by that 4th year, and the items you're buying will be the cheapest of a generation. That's absolutely incredible, great news. And that, my friends, is lifetime stimulus. Now, for the first time ever on this channel, I'm debuting a brand new subject to you today, and it's called NSC, Next Stimulus Checks. Here we go. Federal stimulus checks, law. Inflation relief stimulus checks, law. And LSC, law. And viewers have gotten them. But viewers like me to also record about what's on the horizon, what's in the pipeline, what's coming up next. That's why this is called Next Stimulus, NSC. And let's go over all the details of it right now. Next stimulus. When do I think and again, this is just analysis, it's not data, it's analysis. When do I believe the next stimulus could heat up? The next stimulus could absolutely heat up if it tracks 2021 in the next 60 days. Why? because a year ago, when there was a Senate race in Georgia in contention and going to a runoff in February, they did another stimulus check. They did a stimulus check before the February runoff because they wanted you to vote Democrat in that Georgia February runoff. Here we go again. There's a February Georgia runoff once again. This time it's Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. And the Democrats are likely to do another stimulus check before you vote in February. Irrespective of where you live, it's just a stimulus check for the entire country. Thereafter, after February, there would be likely it's just highly likely, I mean, just almost guaranteed, a monster stimulus package. 2023. Let's go over this 2023 NSC right now. What do I believe is going to be in the 2023 NSC? It is surreal. It is surreal to make this recording, but I got to tell you, it's absolutely what you deserve. Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin will no longer be part of the equation because the Democrats will have enough extra seats to not have to do a recon. Number one, they won't have to do a recon. Number two, they won't need Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema as a deciding vote. So if they want to say no, Sinema, and Manchin wants to say no, don't worry. They don't need them. They'll have enough extra Democratic seats in the Senate. So what would likely be in a massive NSC stimulus package for 2023? Let's go over all the details of this right now. And yes, I'm doing this purely off of memory. No notes on set. In fact, I'd have to bring my notes out of archives because I have them still of what was always anticipated but never got done. First, they would do all the Bernie stuff. So Bernie stuff was the medical and Medicare. So you would get that vision, not currently in Medicare. You would get that hearing, and you would get that dental into the Medicare. They would also drop the eligibility age of Medicare, which was from 65 to 55, was what Bernie wanted to do. I'm doing this purely off of memory. And then he would expand the Medicare into some of those Medicare gap states. Absolutely incredible. Next up, Maxine Waters, $25,000 towards a brand new house. Oh boy, I know you're excited about this one. I was as well. Maxine Waters wanted to give you $25,000 towards the purchase of a brand new home, and that was before the housing industry collapsed. Now with the mortgage rates through the roof, this is obviously a no-brainer. Maxine Waters, $25,000, middle income or low income families towards the purchase of a brand new home. I think this would absolutely get done. Number three, the child tax credit, $300 a month for 12 months every year for that child from birth to age 17 or 18. That's $3,600 a year. Absolutely going to happen a lifetime. So that would be $3,600 a year for a child about 17 or 18 or younger if the household is low income household. Then I know what you're asking. What about MSCs? First, let me remind you that MSCs did not overlap with the children's checks. So the children would not get an MSC and a child check. They would only get the child check. So this would be for individuals 18 years or older, or 19 years or older. And what would likely be possible? Well, if you look back and think back to our recordings of a year ago, we had nearly 30 members of Congress, Democrats, House, Democrats, Senate, who promised you the following in a massive stimulus package. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 for 5 months thereafter. Total of 6 months of checks, that's about $7,000 total. $7,000 total. That seems very possible in light of all the economic environments across the board. Eligibility, $75,000 less, single individual, married couple, $150,000 less. And yes, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or relevant benefits, that seems likely to happen as well. Next, the cars. They always wanted to do a bigger refund when you buy an electric car. And the one that got done that is in the current law is the smaller version of this. I think they would get the bigger version of this as well. Next up, unemployment. I think they absolutely are going to do a revamp of the unemployment system so that mirrors the 2020 CARES Act. First, FPUC lifetime. Absolutely. I believe that if you got unemployed anytime in your lifetime, that you would get an extra $600 a week from the federal government of FPUC. I think they would absolutely make this lifetime. Number two, PEUC lifetime change to the unemployment system, that the federal government would pick up extra weeks of unemployment. PEUC was giving you extra weeks of unemployment so you would never run out of unemployment benefits. And then PUA, which I forgot to mention tonight on tonight's Evenings LA. So there's a lot to remember. I think that they would overhaul the unemployment system so that PUA, so independent contractors and sole practitioners, would get unemployment assistance like W-2s. That's what PUA was under the CARES Act. It just all makes obvious sense. So much to know and so surreal. Do you think it's surreal? I think it's surreal. I think it really is surreal in two regards. One, that all the items we always talked about that are in the back of our memory are coming forward again, because this is the Senate that everyone wanted, and that is going to happen. And so all those wonderful things, all those packages that were, $4 trillion, and they said it's too expensive, or $3 trillion, too expensive. Now they can be $4 trillion because you will not need a single Republican vote. Republicans are not part of the equation. Mitch can't block it. The Republicans can't block it. Number two, it seems surreal because in 2020, all we could talk about was what we hoped to get. It's different now, because I have for you every day on this channel $300,000 of stimulus. That is law. I have for you law right now of FPUC, a law of, so many letters to remember today's broadcast, of FSCs, federal stimulus checks, $300,000 of FSCs, ISCs, LSCs. So it's surreal to be recording that here is money, and there could be more money on top of that. It's absolutely incredible. You know how to do this. Number one, remember the four things. One, for the Federal Reserve, we need to get inflation from 8% to 2%. Number two, it needs to stay at 2% for several months. Number three, we're not going to change policy at the Federal Reserve. We're going to stay with that. Let's jump over to stimulus. You focus on federal stimulus checks right now. You don't focus on a horizon. You don't focus on something in the future. You focus on right now. Get this big money, $300,000. Get it right now. Be as a purple hawk. Pounce. Hawk, hawk. Get it before anyone else. And then learn to earn. Stay throughout any broadcast, and also inspire other people. Always jump in that live chat and motivate other people to get sums of money, because that's what happened with John Maloof, Spelly, and then Lincoln. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, so excited for the 100 new members who joined in the last 24 hours, 48 hours. Will you be the next one? I hope to see you as well. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, because the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. The shows are just starting. I'll see you next throughout the day at 11 a.m. on holidays. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.